They got an antique coffee roaster. This thing's massive right here. I don't know how that's gonna fit in the back of the truck. So we need to build on the trailer. It's gonna look good, sound good, and it's gonna smell pretty good too. I still get excited when a big build like the 68 GTO comes together. That's like the coolest set of wheels I've ever seen.
It looks like a blue sky.
No, that's a hog, boys.
We're not looking for fuel efficient, we're looking for power.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Pretty good shape. The owner's two brothers dropped this car off a while back. You know, it was looking good, in good shape, but you don't really know till all that paint and bodywork's gone and you get it back from blast. Next up, we're going to get it over to the body shop and then paint. Meanwhile, we finished most of the metal work on this ground-up build. Hand making a custom chassis, suspension, and a completely one-of-a-kind engine bay. Frame and suspension just came back from powder coat. So up next, we're going to assemble the rolling chassis and run all those lines. Grab that. Using my head. Got a rear diff for the GTO. Stabbing the pumpkin right now. Thank you very much. Next, we'll put the seals in, then I'll go ahead and slap my axles in, then we'll be ready to install it. One of my favorite parts is actually when everything starts coming together. You start seeing, you know, components come back from powder coat. We have paint going on right now. You get to see that much more, and you start to see something evolve. You get to see exactly how much work it takes to get to this point right here. You know, what it's going to start looking like. Okay, so I got everything installed on my rear end now. I got the pumpkin in, I got my axles in, I got my link bars on. Last thing is, go ahead and put my coilovers on. Once I put my coilovers on, this thing will be ready to roll. Alright, so we got the wheels now for the GTO. You know, we have this polished and this raw look. I mean, it kind of really sets it off, especially against this black frame. Man, they're just the wheels to fit this car. What do you think about the steel toners?
I think it's pretty cool, the way it's concave like that.
Yeah, also the Nitos, you know, there's going to be a real sticky tire on here with that big motor. Really like the way the cap covers and everything too. It looks seamless. Next thing is we'll be putting the body on this thing soon. When this thing's done, it's going to be a head turner. You know, the owner of the car wanted a light blue-ish color, so I'm just going to try to pick that perfect color that really is going to make this car stand out amongst. And I think everybody has been to a car show or in a parking lot where they walk by a car that catches their eye. You can tell somebody spent a lot of time and a lot of money on a specific car, but you look at it and go, man, that's cool, but the color's wrong. And that's what we don't want to happen ever. So it takes a certain eye to pick that certain color. So that's the critical stage of a build like this. There's a ton of light blues and all these color chips that we have, man. But I think this one right here is going to fit that GTO perfectly. And it's just got that right little flip of color, small hint of metallic in it. The sun hits this color on that car, people are going to know that, you know, that isn't just any old GTO. There's something special about it. Alright, so we're at my favorite part of every build, and now we got the wheels
which are awesome. That's like the coolest set of wheels I've ever seen. But before we put the body on, I want to do all the lines, which is way better with not having anything in your way. Most of the chassis that we got brakes and fuel. So do the brakes first, and then I'm going to do the fuel in a bit. Finding your best route to run the lines is always best for maintenance because, you know, if I ever have to take these apart for any reason, I don't want to be jammed up to where I got to cut or remove a body or whatever. I always like to run down the edges of the frame rails. I think that looks cleanest. Never like to be on top because the body's always so close and I don't want to pinch anything ever. Once I cut the line, I'll be ready to flare. This is called a flaring tool. This is a cheater one. The other one's the old-timey people. Old-timey people, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. They almost look like a little butterfly knife, actually. I can open it up. A little wing nut on it. This is like like you can't mess it up version. Then watch, I'm gonna mess it up. I'll mess this up. Just so it's not one piece. Cranking the hole. Oh, it's the wrong way. How'd you do that, dude? Just do this. Just bend a perfect 180. You know, the stainless line, it takes a little bit more time. But the end result is way better. Oh, yeah. You can grab you some rubber line and do it real fast and careless, but with everything else you do, why skimp on this? It's a little bit different every single time, so I like it. It looks pretty good. All right, so we got all of our brake lines done now. We're ready to drop the motor and trans in this thing and do our fuel lines. Once we get that done, then we can drop the body on this car and we start moving forward on all that good stuff.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's going on, Bill? How you doing, man? Greg. Nice to meet you.
Rex.
Nice to meet you guys,
Nice to meet
man.
you.
What y'all doing today, man? Out cruising around the old truck?
All the way from Florida, man.
Oh, man, you didn't drive this from Florida. Come on.
No, it would have taken us about 4 days.
All right.
We only drive at about 35, 40 miles an hour, something like that.
So what year is this?
1931.
31, man. That is something you definitely don't see every day. It looks very well taken care of, man.
This guy right here, man, maintenance team and Rex, they do an awesome job. This truck frame came out of an old barn in Houston. The old Maxwell House plant here in Houston rebuilt it through the plant team in the 80s. They redid it again in the 90s to make it more roadworthy, and now we're kind of bringing it back to where it started to really take it to the next level. So it's kind of neat that it got to come home.
Man, this is real cool. So you want to take this truck and just bring it up to the car?
Pay tribute to the heritage, but at the same time, add your touch, your style to modernize it and get people excited about the brand, our truck, have it really stand out at parades and events, and people get excited about it.
Man, I love it. You know, one of the first things we need to do is upgrade the suspension. Those leaf springs and everything look cool, but I know they ride horrible.
And it rides like it doesn't have suspension.
Right. We put modern axle underneath the back with a 4-link and install air suspension on it. So you can put whatever in the back and still have that ride quality and that some adjustability also. You know, in the front, cut all that out, put independent front suspension so we can put modern brakes on it. And what about these wheels and tires? Are you set on these?
Not at all.
So we can definitely upgrade that, but still give it that vintage look too.
That's exactly what we want.
So let me guess, no power under the hood.
No, I didn't go there.
Let's check it out. It's a little underwhelming for sure. I mean, that's definitely not a factory engine. So what is that?
It's a Cavalier 4-cylinder.
No performance there, right?
No power steering, no AC, probably about 2 horsepower. We're wanting to step this up, man.
So underneath the hood needs a little cup of coffee, get its energy up, right?
Yes,
You got it.
And I can definitely see why they chose that engine. I mean, it's super tight, confined in here. There's not much room at all. So it would actually fit to not take up some of the footwell inside there. So what's going on with the interior? It looks really nice.
Appreciate it. It's just, man, it's tough to drive. Steering wheel's so big, you know, you feel like you're driving a tractor.
One of the most definite things we need is to upgrade that steering column. Give you a tilt wheel, make it easier to get in and out of. And of course, you know, AC for sure.
It's hot as a pot of coffee in there. We'd like to be iced latte, you know what I mean?
The interior looks good, but no comfort. I think these trucks were probably made for 4-foot tall people back in the day, but we're gonna do what we do, give them as much room and as much comfort as we can possibly put in this little cube. So what you got going on in the back?
Come check it out. We got some really cool ideas, Bill. We have a roaster, and we would love to be able to take it to events and roast coffee so people can smell it. They can experience how you roast coffee. So if there's some way you can incorporate a roaster into the back of the truck, we just think that'd be next level.
That's a cool project, man. I love getting stuff in like this, especially with the history of the truck, history of the company. I definitely get what you guys are wanting to do.
You got 200 people back home in Florida that just can't wait to see what you can do with it.
And I'm ready to get going on it, man. If you guys are ready, let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. We're ready.
Man, I love projects like this. I love that challenge of taking something old and vintage and making it over the top cool. Most of the time, vehicles like this, people just trying to get them looking as close to factory as possible. They're trying to restore them, make them vintage, or, go the rat rod style. There's definitely not a lot of people that attempt to take an old looking truck and modernize it. So it's challenging to make it still look appealing and not just too gaudy. We're going to take our time to make those right decisions, put those right parts on, and make them a really cool truck.
Man, this is pretty cool, dude. I like this.
It doesn't look bad.
The motor looks really, really clean. Or it's just never been driven.
Man, it runs good. I mean, I'm driving around the parking lot. It's not bad at all.
What's up, Phillies? Y'all checking it out?
Yeah, man,
Yeah, man,
this
look
is
at
really
the little
cool.
old motor in here.
That's a cool truck.
Yeah.
It looks cool cruising in parades and everything now, but they want something a lot cooler.
Like, brought it here.
That's right. We're basically going to leave the outside alone, but they definitely want some upgrades in the engine compartment and underneath on the suspension. The first thing we're going to do is I think what would be really cool on this is a diesel.
That's a great idea.
But we're super confined to how much room we have underneath the hood of this, right?
Yeah, there's no room.
So just a 4BT, Cummins 4-cylinder in it would just be really, really cool.
That's going to change this truck dramatically.
For sure. After that, the next thing we got to tackle is suspension. Ripping all this totally out. These old springs, a straight axle, can't have that. They want it to drive good, ride good. So independent front suspension, air on it, of course. We got to have that adjustability. And the same with the back. Ripping out that old axle, new late model dual wheel axle, disc brakes in the front. Stopping really good, driving good, riding good.
We're not going to keep these wheels and tires, are we?
No. Brand new wheels and tires. A 24-inch dually wheel. I think it'll look real cool on this.
That's going to be sick.
Yeah.
That's going to grab a lot of attention right away.
Absolutely. So when it pulls up, people are just, wow, man, I got to go check this out. And when they're all around it checking it out, that's where they're going to hit them with the coffee serving in the back. They got an antique coffee roaster they're going to send to us, and we're going to configure that in the back of this. So it's going to look good, sound good, and it's going to smell pretty good too.
Well, I can't wait till this thing to get in.
You're not going to want to give it back.
Y'all ready to do it?
Let's do it, man.
When you're talking about a 31 Ford pickup, you're talking about a vehicle that's over 90 years old. Technology has totally changed from then till now. It's more than tearing down a truck. This is a straight-up history lesson on how cars used to be built.
Oh, that leaf spring was hitting on it, but damn, that thing is real jacked up, huh?
Yeah.
They put a hose clamp over it to keep it all together, look. Damn. I'm surprised that held that long. That's crazy.
Coming out today.
Ready?
We're ready to pull it out now.
Up a little bit. All right. Yeah, pick it up.
Hold up. I don't want to mess their brake lines up. They're perfect. We reuse them. Dude, I got a treasure. If I didn't have gloves on, this would be way easier. Yeah, it was taped to the bottom of it. Congrats, you found the Molus Easter egg. Just wanted you guys to know how much we appreciate y'all taking care of old Max. He was special to us, and we know it will be in good hands. Can't wait to see what you guys do to old Max.
don't see that often.
Yeah, you never see that, huh?
Right on.
Good?
Yep, yeah. Clear.
Way more gooder.
Jamie and Ryan did a great job tearing everything out. The next step on this is rebuilding the rear suspension. We're going to build a 4-link rear suspension with an airbag that holds everything up. So first things first, building that part of the suspension is getting the new hanger. And what the hanger does is connect the frame to the rear end of the truck. So all the stopping, starting, all that torque to be super strong. So we're going to build all this out of 1/4-inch material, so we won't have any problems. So I have the plate that bolts onto the frame here, and then we're going to have another plate that goes on the outside, and then we're going to box all this in. This is going to be exposed, so people are going to see this. So I want to spend a little extra time on this to make it look kind of cool and go with the styling of the truck. Let's go give it to Mr. Jesse. Appreciate you.
So now what I'm gonna do is just try to find something that looks similar to this roundness right here, which I found this. I'll use that. I already know this DOM out here, the ID is 2-inch. So I'll just trace that, and that would help me gather everything together and dry it out even faster and be more accurate with it. Everything looks good, the way I laid it out. So now I'm just ready to cut it out. So these hangers are gonna be different for the Maxwell coffee truck. We're trying to make these more of its time, more innate, like it came with the truck, like their original parts. You know, that way they can just all flow together and look like they rolled out of the factory like. All right, so I got the hangers done. They're punched and walk them over to the bill so you can put them on the truck.
Block, spacer, go. We cut and cleaned up the hangers for the rear suspension on the 31 Ford. Now it's time to get them in place. Tell you what we'll do. I want to box this in 100% around. I think that'll look the coolest and keep dirt out, all that out. First things first, what I want to do is probably take our 5.5-inch pipe. Then we can just cut a piece here, cut a piece here, there, and then just box the sides into it. Boom. That's gonna be too big. Okay, so I got all my pieces cut out, got all my pieces bent. So the next thing is go ahead and start fitting them in this shape. Once I fit them to where I like them, go ahead and tack them in, then I weld them out. Okay, so I got them all boxed up, mocked up, everything's tacked together. So I'm gonna drop these off at Max's table. They'll be welded out. Think you can burn these in for me real quick? So what I'm doing right now is making a bracket for our gusset on our hanger. Basically, our hanger's bolted on the side of our frame, so what I'm doing is making a little attachment for our gusset to hang underneath the frame so to make our hanger very nice and sturdy. So you can see I got my gusset right here on my hanger. You know, this is exactly what this needs to give it the strength, you know, so it can't bend or warp or anything like that. This right here is gonna make this extra strong. So now I got my gusset mount bolted up. All I gotta do, weld it out. That's it. Strong as can be.
motor for the GTO in under the door and make everything work. So we're just gonna roll the chassis out of the door, drop the motor down onto the chassis, and then roll it right back onto the lift. So here, hold up. Hey, you just hold that right there. Coming down. Oh, what you think? It's a lot heavier now.
No, that's a hog, boys.
Oh.
Quit hogging around, dude.
Hogging around, man.
We got the engine and trans installed on the 68 GTO. Now Ryan's running all the lines.
Alright, so we dropped the motor in here, and now I can run my fuel lines back to the back. Got the regulator mounted, fuel pump, everything's ready to go, so I'm gonna knock that out real quick. When I run the fuel lines, I like to separate them. I like to do a whip line from the motor to the chassis. It's always better to have one solid line instead of having breaks in your line. Less chances of it having a leak, less places to chase for a leak. Alright, so we're at a good point now to get our body all together, get it rolled over here, and put it on the lift and drop it down on the chassis.
Alright, so we got our color for our 68 GTO, the light stellar blue metallic, but I think it's gonna look really good. Basically, I'm mixing a lot of different toners. You don't want to go over or less on some colors because it can mess up your formula. That's why we try to mix the whole gallon, because, you know, if we mix little by little here and there, it might come out a little different. But I think what's really interesting about this paint that we add in all this aluminum, that's what's going to give it that really cool metallic look to it. Alright, that's really going to make that color stand out. Alright, the color looks good. We're going to go ahead and apply some sealer. After that, we're going to come back, paint our car, and see how it looks. We got our 2 coats of... We're going to have it look in Motor City Finest. We're going to go ahead and let it dry overnight, paint the rest of the parts, and we should have a brand new car.
Put these wheel dollies under the chassis, and I'm just going to move the chassis underneath the GTO and marry the two together.
Even though I've been in this game for a long time, I still get excited when a big build like the 68 GTO comes together.
I start cutting it, cut it hard.
Seeing the finished product in my mind is one thing, but seeing it actually come together is when, you know, I definitely get excited. Today's the day we're putting the chassis and the body together for the first time.
Just make sure I don't hit the motor on the firewall. If it ain't touching now, it ain't gonna hit. Like right there on the edge, so that should be good. Man, good job. We're gonna go right into that bay. Thank you very much. So we got the GTO back over in this bay. Now it's time to do all the and start rolling through the whole final process of doing all the fun stuff.
This GTO used to be a drag car originally, but it wasn't, he wanted to drive it, it wasn't practical. We went ahead and got the LT4 crate motor, and it's a lot of horsepower, but it's just not enough. So we're gonna go ahead and make some changes, change some engine parts, make it come alive, but still be a daily driver, treatable car with some good power under the hood. So we're gonna start by taking off our whole front assembly. A lot of the Chevy stuff, the basics of them are the same back to like the carbureted 350 days. I'm not sure on the LT, but I know on the LS it's up until 2013. You can take a transmission from a 72 Chevy and bolt it right up to it for the most part. I've been honestly messing with it since I was a kid. I was young. My grandpa was a mechanic, my dad, most of my uncles. So I just kind of always spin around it. It's not really something I chose to do. It's something that I just grew up doing. I still do it, so I don't hate it, I guess. This is an AC compressor. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and pull the crankshaft pulley now. So now that we got our front assembly all torn off, we're gonna start taking off the blowers so we can get to our heads and get those pulled off next. We're gonna go ahead and now take our fuel rails off and fuel lines so we can get these heads pulled off. Just kind of paying attention to how it came apart is one of the main things. Always got to pay attention to what you're doing, especially if it's a motor you haven't done before. It makes the reassembly a lot easier. Once the heads come off, the motor looks tiny, and the kind of horsepower it makes is even crazier for something so small. We're going to go ahead and pull our lifter trays out and get our lifters out. And then we're going to pull our front cover and get our camshaft out. This is the oil pump. And you got to be careful when pulling these out, because see that right there? That's a bearing. So if you're too rough with it, you can push those bearings out. Now we're done with the disassembly. We're going to go ahead and get all our mating surfaces cleaned up and then put our heads on it and basically build our motor backwards. This thing's going to be a beast for sure. Oh yeah.
Jamie, Doc just showed up for the Maxwell house. They sent us over a nice little grinder here, and then that's the roaster that we're gonna be roasting the beans in.
This thing's massive right here. I don't know how that's gonna fit in the back of the truck.
That's what you and Bill are known to do, to make magic happen.
Because Maxwell House is going to use old Max in many events, they wanted a roaster and a grinder in the truck. But what they sent is way too big for the bed. So we need to change things up and build them a trailer. You know, the only thing is there's no hitch, so I guess we got to make one.
So all the machinery is so heavy and big, we're gonna go ahead and put a receiver hitch in here now. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put some C-channel right here on top of the frame. Then we'll have a piece of 4-inch boxed in with the C-channel. Then we'll have the drop down with the slide. Alright, so I got my piece of C-channel here cut, squared up. Next thing is start cutting this 3x4 into place. This is going to be the end of it where our receiver hitch goes into. So I'm going to miter it in between these pieces of C-channel. So once I get these cut out, I'll go ahead and test fit it. If I know it fits the way I want it to, I'll go ahead and start putting these on the truck.
For the back end of the hitch, we're going to add a receiver tube, so it's going to be super strong. That way they can haul as much coffee as they want.
Bill just lining this up for me, so I'm fixing to cut it right now and get it all welded out. I got my hitch. It's solid, it's good. Now I'm gonna add these gussets to it. It's gonna reinforce it and make it a lot better and stronger. Now I got my gussets in here in place. Now I'm gonna put it all the way around. It's gonna look good.
Custom hitch on the 31 Ford finished. Now we're going to make some side plates that attach to the frame to secure the hitch to the truck.
You know it's going to burn, everything's going to catch on fire. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a plate right here. I'm going to sandwich this plate between our C-channel for our receiver hitch. What I'm going to do right now is bring it to Jesse. I need 2 of these, man. The holes, I mean, you can make them just a tad bigger, but I need 2 of these out of 3/16.
So I got it all drawn out. It looks good. So now we're just ready to cut it out.
Okay, just got my plates back from Jesse. Everything looks really good. We'll go ahead and test fit them real quick, make sure everything's the way I want it. After that, we'll go ahead and start drilling. All right, now I got my marks. Gonna drill everything in now. I established where my holes are gonna go now from my plate to my frame. So I'm gonna go ahead and punch these real quick, drill them out, bolt them back up, through punch them, take the plate back off, drill the frame, and everything should line up. So you can see the frame and the wooden frame of the, so only thing to do is go ahead and cut it all the way down the middle of our piece that I had Jesse burn out. So then we're gonna go ahead and come back in here with a strip, weld it in, so we'll have a nice little shape to it, contoured on each side. So it's almost like a saddle. That's gonna hold it right in place. It's bolted through and through. It's bolted to our drop hitch. That's the way to go.
Now that the side plates are mocked up, we realized the strip connecting the top and the bottom plate just really didn't give us the seamless look we were looking for.
So the top piece wasn't gonna work, and instead of welding a little piece in, I went ahead and remade the top piece and put a bend right in it so it can meet the same angle that I need. You know, problems come up here all the time. Let me rephrase that. Problems happen when you're working on vehicles all the time. You know, you can only think of so much stuff, but you can't ever think of everything. You're gonna have issues, and you just have to adapt and overcome.
When you're making things by hand like we do, most builds don't go exactly how you first thought. Once we realized we needed a trailer for this thing, we had to make a tow hitch. Putting in the new 4BT diesel engine under the hood, and then get to customizing a trailer. Building a custom vehicle is never a straight line path, but I really like the direction we're heading in on this one.
We got our C-channel in, our plates on the side. Last but not least is our receiver hitch right here. We've got it stitched up right now, so the receiver hitch is mocked up.
We stripped the LT4 motor on the 68 GTO. Now it's time to give this thing even more power.
We're gonna go ahead and start with the fun stuff and get all the new, more power parts put in. We're gonna start with the camshaft first, and then we'll get our timing chain in there, set our timing, and then move on from there. It's set up different than the stock to create more horsepower. This one's got higher profiles. The lobe separation is a little different. It's a bigger cam to create more power. The specs on it are set up for a blower motor. Right here is our timing chain and oil pump gear. So what that does is when you put this together, it keeps the motor in time so the valves open when they need to open and not too soon or not too late. So if that piston at the top and the cam's not timed right, then that's either break or all right, so we're gonna go ahead and get rid of these factory DOD lifters and go ahead and put our new just standard LS7 lifters in it. So what the DOD does is allow the computer to shut down 4 cylinders of the motor to make it more fuel efficient, but in this case, we're not looking for fuel efficient, we're looking for power. These are our new heads right here. We got bigger intake valves, exhaust valves. They opened them up and smoothed them out so the airflow will be greater and it'll flow smoother. These bolts right here are actually stronger, like the factory style bolts, or they call them a stretch to yield. So when you're torquing them, the bolts actually stretch out. So when you have boost in the motor, it can cause the head gasket to blow. So with these bolts right here, they don't stretch. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put our new push rods in. They came with our cam kit. These are a different length because the profiles on the cam are different. If these are too long, it's gonna open the valve too much, which could possibly hit the piston and cause catastrophic failure for sure. So it's real important that your push rod length matches your cam setup. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and install our new rocker arms. So the difference between these and the factory ones is it's got a roller on the end of it where it actually pushes the valve straight down, as opposed to these kind of come in and put a side. If you put too much side load on the valve, especially at high RPMs, there's a good chance it'll snap the valve and drop it in the motor. That's the end of that. It's actually starting to look like a motor, a fast motor too. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna spin the motor over a few times just to make sure there's no issues, everything spins freely, and put some gas in it, it might start like the old motors where you had to spin them. Then we'll go ahead and get all our tin on the outside of it. Put our valley pan on, valve covers on, front cover, and pan on. Just get this motor all closed up and ready to hit the street. So the LT4 was already a great engine, a great platform to start with, but the parts we add are definitely going to increase the horsepower, and the performance is going to be top notch. Especially it'll be a streetable car. That was the nice thing, but still have some power to rip down the road. But it looks good internally and externally, so can't wait to get this thing together and see what it's going to really do. Hi, my name's Matt Lipp. I do a lot of the motor and electrical stuff here at Extensive. I've been doing this now for 20 plus years since I was a kid. Kind of just took stuff apart, figured out how to put it together the wrong way. First, it evolved into what I do now. The thing I like about engine and wiring work is it's always something new. 350 horsepower 15 years ago was impressive, but now we're building stuff that's 1,000, 1,500 horsepower. It keeps going and going with the technology now. Like, I always got to make sure I'm on point and keep up with all the new technology, everything that comes out, so I know what it'll take to make the motor better. Now it's lean, mean, and ready to be seen. And the payoff for me is just the self-satisfaction. Like, I don't do stuff for other people to say, oh, like, good work. It's more for my pleasure. Like, I like to know I took something on that was hard and I accomplished it and made it come together and just work in the end. Like, that's really what I enjoy doing about the most. Got it.
What's good, Carlos?
Hey, Stephanie, what you doing?
How you doing?
I heard you were coming in.
Yeah, I'm here to check on my dad's 49 Ford.
Well, it's not done yet, but it's a lot further along than what you dropped it off. I mean, when you did, I didn't know if I had to get them tetanus shots or not, but, you know, the guys have done so much work, you know, that custom frame that they put on there, that new independent rear suspension. Well, Bill's out in the body shop right now. There's a GTO that they're just pulling out. Okay. If you want, I could go grab him for you real quick.
No, it's all good. I can go find him and see what's happening outside.
All right. Well, okay. Enjoy.
Good to see you.
All right, you too.
Man, Edgar, it's really starting to look good, man. We finally got the body back on the chassis. We're in a good spot, man.
Yeah, man, we're getting real close to putting this car together. It's gonna look real great, man.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Hey, good to see you. Edgar, you met Stephanie?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Give me just a second.
All right, man.
Hey, thank you for coming in. You know, I want to go over a couple things with your dad's truck. You know, I need you to pick and choose a couple of things, so appreciate you coming down.
Absolutely, but before we do that, what do we got going on here with this timeless beauty?
Man, this is a real cool car. It's a 68 Pontiac GTO. This has been in Two Brothers family for about 40 years. They've had it.
Wow.
We know what this car means to them, so we're definitely going to take our time and make sure every part and piece is 100% right.
Yeah, these old GTOs are super cool. I love old muscle cars.
Yeah, me too.
So which one was worse when I brought the truck in? My dad's truck or this car?
You definitely won on those. A time capsule pretty much. But they wanted a car they could just get in, has a whole lot of power, but still drive it wherever they want and look good doing it. So we just tore it all apart. We made a whole new frame from front to back.
So you built the whole frame from scratch?
Every part and piece, every bit of the suspension, I mean, everything that's underneath the car is all handmade.
Wow.
If you're going to be customizing a car to this extent, first thing you got to do is start with a new frame.
So you're not bagging this one?
Nope, they wanted just a static, low look, so it's got coilovers all the way around, so you just get in and go.
Are these the wheels for the finished ride?
Man, it is.
Yeah.
I love the look of them. You know, it's a 20-inch wheel, so it's not too big. You know, being a coilover suspension, you don't have that adjustability, so we can't go too big and have the car too low or you won't be able to turn. So a 20-inch wheel for this, it's perfect. You know, the brothers grew up racing in this car. They had a race engine in it. So the challenge was finding an engine with a whole lot of power, but the reliability that they want to be able to drive it wherever they want. So brand new crate LT4, about 600 plus horsepower in it. You know, it'd definitely do whatever they want to do.
They're going to be fighting over who's driving.
Absolutely. But one other cool thing, when you pop the hood on this, you're not going to see anything but the supercharger. Everything else is all paneled off, so sheet metal panels all throughout the engine. You won't see anything.
Right.
So it's going to look really, really cool. When you pop the hood, it's just all body color, all underneath the hood.
Wow, that's going to be really cool. You open up the hood and see all the custom metalwork. I think that's going to look super rad. The color is amazing. It's probably my favorite. It looks like a blue sky.
Well, the original color was blue, but, you know, we had to wake that up a little bit.
Well, this looks amazing. What else do you have to do to it?
Man, we've done a ton of work up to this point, but, I mean, we still got a lot to do. I mean, of course, getting the body all fit and finish, and then taking it over to the interior shop and letting John do his thing. So he's got his hands full with this one for sure.
Looks like it.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to get this thing done. This GTO has been a lot of work for everybody in the shop, but it's looking good. I mean, there's pieces to this car everywhere, but trust me, when you see it all together, everybody's going to be blown away. This is something special for these two brothers. You know, it's been in their family for 40 plus years. They've had it their whole lives. So we really want it for them, and it stands out from any other 68 GTO. You know, with new suspension, new engine, new trans.
That's huge. I wouldn't doubt if it weighed more than their truck itself right now.
We come a long way on the 49 Ford.
Now the fun part. You're going to build a whole new bed from scratch.
Yeah, every bit of it.
We like obstacles.
Yeah. What's next after that?
Man, just everything else.
Perfect.
We build custom trucks. We don't do restorations.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. What's up?
Alright, I need to get these bent. Got a couple of templates here. We just need these bends here. This one here, if we can get the rolled edge with this length here, 78 inches long.
Okay.
You know, a ground up build for us isn't measured in miles. It's measured in inches.
This is going to be the exact dimensions that you need on this, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll get on it right now.
Perfect.
Get it done for you.
The 49 Ford came to us, a rusted out old truck. We made a ton of progress inch by inch.
Two of each?
Two of each, yeah.
The bed was just beyond saving. So Ryan's out getting the metal bent for the new bedside of what will be a completely handmade bed. Our shop brake isn't long enough to bend them, so we'll get these guys to knock it out perfect.
So I know you're going to be happy. All of those parts that we had on back order finally starting to show up.
So you've been doing something.
Believe it or not, yes, we finally are doing stuff up here. We'll be able to start knocking out some of those older projects that we've been working on. Speaking of projects, I know the thing, how's that coming?
Man, huge job. It was in rough shape when it came in, right? Mm-hmm. We've done a lot to it. Getting in the shop, getting it tore apart, body off the blast, new firewall put in. We got the whole frame built, independent rear suspension, never done that before. Building the independent front suspension, millionth time doing that. Engine trans is all mounted. Man, we're in good shape. The next big job is the bed itself. So I got Ryan over at ADE, bending the bed panels for it.
You're gonna build a whole new bed from scratch.
Yeah, every bit of it. It was just too far gone. So only thing I need from you is 2 fenders. We're gonna build a bed floor that lifts up so you can see all the framework, all the independent suspension.
The cool thing about working here is it's always something different.
Yeah, man. I mean, people have been customizing these trucks for 75 years now. Getting a little more difficult to come up with something people haven't seen before.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it happen though.
All right, so once the bed's done, what's next after that?
Man, just everything else, right? Blowing it all apart, powder coat, a lot of body work, a lot of paint. And John Burgess, man, he's gotta come with it, make this one stand out on the inside also.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotta tie in whatever you're doing to the outside.
Just got back. Where do you want those bedsides at for the floor?
Man, just stick it right behind the truck. I'll be out there in just a second. We'll start making it. Well, man, make sure you get all that stuff, and I'm gonna get to bed.
You can't.
Ready?
Oh, yeah. Put that other one on top of it. I don't want to walk twice.
Sounds good.
Old and I'm lazy, Dustin.
All right.
We got our bedsides back from the vendor. We got our 4 pieces that we're gonna mate together like that. And once we get all these put together, we'll have 2 bedsides.
Slide it right here, and then we'll slide it down.
Give this another 1/4 inch. We can get some screws and that'll straighten that up a lot.
There you go. You can see there's real wavy on the inside. That's because there's no structure on the inside of this right now. So what we did is make these little channels here. We're gonna tack one to the inside of the panel, and we'll put this other panel on and spot weld the other side. That way they sandwich together, and then they have a little bit of structure in here in between the 2 bedsides. And once it's all welded and cleaned up, bodyworked and painted, it'll look like a brand new bedside like we Go for it. We like obstacles.
Yeah.
All right, right there.
Couple of bays over from the 49, we're working on a 31 for Maxwell House. Will, let's slap that sucker.
Something right there.
I'd say let's start off by going from the bottom of the crossmember to the top of the frame. And let's get that overall look. So we got 2 classic trucks going on at the same time. And we build custom trucks. We don't do restorations. Having said that, I still want to keep the things that make this a cool old truck.
From this side?
While making custom details that'll make this truck stand out from everyone else. That's pretty dang close. That's those accurate measurements.
I wouldn't bet against your eye. You're really close. A jump shot, I'll take that bet.
I got that too. The 1931 Ford Maxwell House truck came to us as a small project and just grew into something that nobody could have planned for. Did you level this?
I haven't leveled anything yet.
Did different. We're just doing engine and transmission and all the suspension. We still want to retain the original look, but just new suspension, new engine, new trans. Now, just the height we need to come up with. We got everything torn down. We got the rear hangers made, and all that coffee equipment came in, and it's way bigger than I was expecting. There's just not enough space in the back of the truck. We're definitely going to have to build a trailer. We got the trailer hitch built on the back of the truck, and the only thing left is all the rest of it.
The importance of having everything leveled, man, that's where it really starts out. You know, this side's nice and tight, the other side's loose. I've tweaked the frame a little bit, loosened up some pieces, and put a lot of weight on this one corner. You know, when this thing was restored, they just bolted it right back down. They didn't check the square of the frame or anything like that. This right here is the best thing could happen for this truck.
We're going to start with replacing the whole straight axle with independent front suspension. So first things first on that is building the lower part of the frame, which the control arms and everything mount to. And that's the whole cross member. It's going to support the weight of the engine and have attaching points for all in the right spot, the right level, the right wheelbase. There's a lot of things you got to figure on when putting this cross member in.
Let's see if this works.
We're swapping out the existing power plant for a 4BT Cummins on the 31 Ford. This diesel engine's way bigger than what came stock 93 years ago, but it's going to give old Max a lot more power. So I asked Jamie to get it in and let's get it mounted.
Don't let it hit that firewall.
Yeah, right there.
Open up!
Barely.
How's that? That's pretty workable now. You can see the size of this engine. It's huge. You know, I wouldn't doubt if it weighed more than their truck itself right now. We're going to have to take a few things off of it just to get it shoehorned in here. Once we do that, we can put everything back on, lift the truck up, put the motor on stands, kind of shift around to get it exactly where we want it. So then we start fabbing up some mounts so we can connect it to the frame. Once we do that, this thing ain't gonna move nowhere. This is a lot of motor in this truck. You know, this is a 4BT. These things are known for how much torque they got. It's gonna pull this truck around, no problem. That's 4 anchor points I got now. Everything's tacked up, nice and solid. You know, we got bushings in all 4 of our anchor points. That's our motor mounts right there.
It's wild to look at the original suspension on the 31 Ford. You know, it worked at the time, but compared to the air suspension that we're building now, the ride's just going to be a whole lot smoother. Engineering's come a long way since 1931.
We're going to go ahead and start building lower control arms and the uppers. So I got my jig all square, so my next step is to go ahead and start putting pipes into my makeshift arm. This is just temporary right here to hold my lower ball joint in. I have my angle set the way it is so I can actually tack this on there, pull these off, nothing moves. I know everything's still square. Once those are done, everything's stitched on here. That's gonna be our lower control arms. Okay, so I got the lowers on, everything's welded out, both sides done. Next step is go ahead and start doing the upper control arm.
See what's over the bottom of this thing. Then we got a pretty unique situation right here. We're working around a big wheel, a late model spindle. The fender curves not only one way, it curves a lot the other way. So we're really limited on our space and location of all the pivot points. So what we had to do is move the pivot point back way out of the way, out of line with the fender bracket. So we had to make this weird offset control arm. The geometry worked correctly on this car with this big wheel, this big spindle. Yeah! Go ahead and weld this out and then get it mocked up underneath the front end and make sure everything clears. Then we can start playing with our upper control arm mounting point, get that camber right. It's pretty unique to this suspension. It's a little bit backwards from the way we normally work, but you know, that's what we do around here. Roll with the punches. I mean, if there's an obstacle in the way, we work around it, make it work, and that's exactly what we're doing here. step on this is building the bag mount itself. So that's basically building a shelf right off of the cross member that holds the airbag and a mount on the bottom of the control arm. So you shoot air into it, it pushes that control arm down, lifts the truck right up.
Okay, so we got our upper bag mount. Everything looks really good on that. The next thing is go ahead and put our shock on. You go mock everything up. Once I mock everything up, I'll make one side, then I'll go ahead and make the other. Weld them out at the same time. That's hot. You know, this is a lot to figure out. Keeping with tradition, old Max right here, we went ahead and kept the stock frame. So it was a little bit of a challenge to go ahead and build the components to this type of frame. But we got everything together and it's looking real good. All right, that's exactly what we wanted. We got our shock extended all the way down, which is gonna be the bottom of our ride height. I'm really happy the way everything turned out. It's gonna ride good. We can turn lock to lock. You know, everything's exactly the way it needs to be.
These old trucks definitely have their own challenges. They're just way different from modern trucks. We're building a new bed for the 49 Ford, but better.
All right, we got our bed sides welded together yesterday. Got them buffed, looking nice. Just had to go ahead and cut some braces, get everything in there so it's roughly set right now. Had to do a little bit of trimming to be able to clear our axles here. Ryan went ahead and rolled a sweet piece of 1x4. That's gonna go ahead and connect the top rails of the bed together. I cut a piece of sheet metal next, and that's gonna go ahead and connect our bed on the inside. Now it's doing something. We went ahead and rolled that as well to match the contour of the cab. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get everything nice and square, true to the truck, and keep on building. So we made this front plate with a brake on the bottom here to keep this rigid. Got our two bed sides tied together, got our sheet metal work done. So next I'm gonna make a piece of tube that's gonna have a roll on it as well. So that's gonna serve as a bed mount for us. And also we'll be able to mount our hinges to there for our bed lift. So I'm gonna trim that down now to fit inside our bed rails. I got our piece of 2x2 in here fitting. That'll make for a really nice stout bed mount and also hinge mount. We're gonna move on to the rear of the bed now. I'm gonna focus on getting our side rail nice and square, just like we did on the front. And then I'm gonna put a piece of tube in here in between the sides of our bed here. And then I'm gonna make some bed mounts that come off the bottom of our frame that go to that tube. So whenever you pick up the top of the bed and look in here, it almost looks like a floating bed. You won't see any mounts. I got it, dude. Pretty heavy. Say that much. Now the fun part. And then it'll weld to here and here.
Sometimes we get salvage a bed on an old truck, but the bed on the 49 and make it a lot cooler. The custom bed sides are looking good so far. Now we need to make room for them fenders.
We gotta trim these fenders down to fit our bed size. And these are for a factory bed. Obviously ours is not a factory bed. See how it looks? See how it fits?
making a tailgate. We're gonna put a little bit of structure in this. I'm gonna make the sides out of 1.5 inch square tubing. We're gonna cope it, weld it onto the side, do all of our grinding, clean up, and make it look real nice. And then we can figure out some type of sheet metal design for the center. We're gonna start with these sides here first and just move on from there. Yeah, boy. Now that I got my frame built, it's got a few tacks on it, it's not going anywhere. I'm gonna make the inside just a little bit more stronger than the 18 or the 20, you know. I'm gonna make it come down and flatten and come up again, kind of give it a little bit of depth. So once it gets welded and grinded and buffed and looking good, it's gonna have a lot of character to it, even though it's just a couple pieces of pipe. Oh yeah! Alright, so now that I got my frame all welded up, I got the front piece on here. That one is bent and tacked in for right now, but we need to do this backside here first before we start getting into all the really heavy welding. So we're gonna make this back portion right now. We're not just gonna put a flat panel in here. We're gonna, do a little bead rolled square just to kind of resemble the stock tailgate look. We'll add the square in there. It gives a little bit of structure to the panel itself. And then once it's welded in, obviously it'll be a lot stronger. And it looks much better than just having a flat panel with no characters. So.
Ryan got the tailgate built for the 49 Ford. I'm working on making a hinge piece for it. I'm machining down a piece of DOM to slide into the tube he's got the tailgate built out of. And then I'm gonna drill it out with a 13/16 drill bit, which is the size of the hinge that we're gonna use. So it'll make for a really sturdy hinge for the tailgate to be able to swing down on.
The front suspension on the 31 Ford, and now we're moving to the rear. Well, we got all the 4-link done, we have the new hangers done, the rear end is actually mounted to the truck. I love the new dually wheels, but we got a problem. Putting on these nice new dually wheels, we're coming from a wheel that's that wide to a wheel that's that wide. So the issue is here, you see how far it sticks this bed, but it's got to grow about 10 inches on each side. So we got to disassemble this bed and make the bed wider. In the world of custom, this is the type of thing that happens that keeps us on schedule.
You have these issues pop up all the time. You have to find solutions. It's just what we do. We're troubleshooting, fix them, find a way to make things work to cover the wheels so we can have a nice arch. Everything ties them together. Once we do that, we'll put our new bedwood in. Let me put our stake sides on. It's going to look like came like that. Put D1 so we know driver. And the last one over here, put P, whatever number it is. Let's lift it up so we can get all these rails out. Go grab Bill's impact. We get 2 at once. Alright. Wiggle it. Yeah.
Let me get a grinder set up.
Yeah. Thomas and I got all the bedwood off finally. Now these pieces right here are actually what we're going to extend out on each side. So first thing is break out some grinders, start grinding these rivets. Today we would bolt everything together, weld together, but back then, these rivets, we had to heat these things up pound them in until they pressed round with a die, and that was a lot of work just to get one of these done. We've come a long way, but it's nice to kind of look back and see how things were done to really appreciate it. Okay, so Thomas and I got all the spines off. You know, you can see where everything's going to go right back. The next step is start putting new spines in this thing.
Bill gave me this cardboard with a little drawing on here. So what I'm going to do now is get all these measurements and just put it all in the computer and cut 13 of these out. Now that we got them all cut out, we're going to bring all the pieces over here and start bending them all. Good? All right, watch stuff. All right, got all these bent up, but this is as far as we go. Our brake's not 8 feet long, so we're gonna have to load these up and take them down the street and get them broken. That means my job here is done.
We finished the bed sides and tailgate on the 49 Ford. To get that tailgate opened and closed, we're gonna add actuators. So get it open by remote control.
Oh yeah. All right, so we got the bed sides completely welded up and grinded smooth. I'm gonna cut these holes out first. This is gonna be our access hole for our actuators. Everything for that assembly will be built on the inside of the bed here. Getting that cut out before we get the tailgate over here is necessary, so we'll get that done right now. You need a hand with that or no? You got it? So I've been playing with our actuator over here, trying to find a mounting location on the inside of the bed here. This pin right here will hold the base, and then this piston here will actually go in and out whenever the motor's running, whenever it goes in and out. So we're going to make a mount that will go on the inside of the... Oh my God.
Did it fit in that way?
No, it went in the other way, through the humongous hole.
I thought so.
So this side works perfect. We just tested it right now. It works fine. We're good over here. We're gonna go to the other side and do the exact same thing. We already got half the parts made. We just need to make the other half now. All right, so I got my actuator bolted in. I got everything welded up and everything's down where it needs to be. So we're gonna make a channel that goes around this, that hides all this. Take a couple of measurements, make it out of some sheet metal, make some breaks, make some bends. Try it out on the truck. Oh yeah! And right here we can make a trim piece, that way when you're looking in here, you don't see this void, and to finish off the access hole. Obviously once it's all bodyworked and painted and it's got everything together, it'll look finished off and it'll look done. So we got our panel made, a little box to cover our actuator body. It's gonna hide all of our wiring, the body itself, keep it out of the element, keep it clean for the most part. It's accessible, you can take it off, that way everything behind there can get painted, the box itself can get painted, and then it can all get installed whenever it's final assemblies. We got our actuator hooked up, we're gonna test the door. Oh, we got power. Perfect.
We come a long way on the 49 Ford. The new bed's looking good, almost factory, but with a lot of updates. Next, we're gonna build the floor, and then we'll have all the pieces for the truck. From there, it's body, paint, interior, putting it all together, then it's done. But still a long list, but compared to where it started, we've come a long, 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 long way. Our new crossmember pieces for the 31 Ford Maxwell House truck are back in the shop. Now we can get to building on this thing.
Foot longer than our original spine. That's going to cover the dually wheel that we've added. First thing is go ahead and start placing these, get them centered. Once I get the two centered, I'm going to clamp 2 pieces of bar on the sides to make sure everything's square. Then I'll be able to put all my rungs in the middle of it. Once I get my spines exactly where I want them, I'll go ahead and clamp them. Once they're drilled, that's where they're going to stay forever. Dustin, come on over here real quick. Let's clamp it and release it. Pick it up and clamp it back. That's good enough. So you can see I got all the spines in except this last one. I have an obstruction right here in my air tank. So what I'm going to have to do is cut along right along here on these edges. Once I get that cut, I'll be able to clamp it in, make sure everything's square, then I'll be able to start drilling and bolting. Go ahead and go in. Okay, so I got all the rungs lined up. Everything looks pretty. Everything's flat. Everything's even, square. So next thing is to go ahead and start drilling into our original hardware. Go ahead and start from the back. Work my way forward. Send it. See what it looks like. All right, so Dustin and I just got done drilling all these spines right here. Everything bolted up just like it came from the factory.
All we're going to do now is put the outer rails that we took off the original bed back onto the new rails. So everything will look the same. We'll just end up with a wider bed to cover those new wheels and tires. Let's get the other side on real quick. It's probably good.
Hey, Dustin, why don't you just grab that side? Jamie, you weld this side.
Once we have this on, the stakes will fit all back in place. Everything retain the original look. The only thing we'll have to do is add new pieces of bedwood. Other than that, it's pretty much a factory style bed.
So what we've done right here is we repurpose our uprights. You know, it actually goes right inside the bed like this and our wood slats go in there. We had to move them since we added onto the bed. So what we did is clean them all up, tack some plates on them. So once we get these back from powder coat, throw some paint on them, bolts them up. All we'll have to do is throw in some longer wood, we'll be good as gold.
I knew we were going to have to make some room for the new Cummins diesel on the 31 Ford. But
you know, we had to cut this out for the front runner kit. Jesse cut us a frame. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and take the excess off here so we can weld the frame on. After I get the frame established, then I can go ahead and start filling back in with my sheet metal and get the design that I want. Okay, so we just got our metal frame in, tacked up. We're going to actually make a vent right there. So we made a quick template of chipboard just to make an outline of what we kind of want to do. It's just a good reference. So I'm going to transfer this to sheet metal. Once I transfer it to sheet metal, bring over bandsaw, cut it out, make some bends, maybe refine it, kind of fit it. Once we get it right how we want it, we'll go ahead and tack that up, start metal working it. What we're going to do next is go ahead and start blowing this truck apart. Yep. And we're going to take this cowl off, we're going to take the fenders off, the cab, everything completely off. Everybody watch everything. Then we'll get the frame down on the ground with the cab up in the air on the lift. Then we'll go ahead and send everything out for powder coat and paint.
Maxwell truck pulled apart. We got the motor out of the chassis. Get this bad boy over to the body shop so they can get it painted. Then we'll get it all back together.
We have the diesel engine from the Maxwell truck. First thing I would need to do is go ahead and base it with the dark gray sealer, which I already did. And then we will go with this color orange, matching some of the orange that's on the truck already. So it'll blend in with everything once this puts back on the frame.
bedwood for the Maxwell House truck. We're gonna get it all prepped. It's really important that you use the same grit. We want everything to be nice and uniform when we apply the stain. So this is really the most important step before applying any type of color to the wood. Maxwell has a truck. We use the coffee beans to try to color the stain. So as you can tell, this color is really coming out perfect and it smells awesome. Let's take a look and see what we got here. Back in the day, teas and coffees were used to naturally color wood, so this will be a really neat experiment. I'm gonna go ahead and add our stain base, and this will just make sure everything gets evened out. Looks like creamer. So I'm gonna add some of our just universal brown colorant to the mixture so that we have a really nice color. And Bill said he wants this to look really natural, so that's kind of how we're gonna keep it. Add a little bit of black just to darken it up some more. All right, this is starting to look really good. So we can go ahead and start putting it on the bedwood. We're gonna go in circular motions to make sure it gets into all of the wood grain. It's nice when you try something new and it ends up working out really well, and you cannot beat the smell. This definitely beats the normal smell that we're used to when we're working with stain. All right, everything looks like it's soaked in really well. So next step in the process to really protect this bedwood, we're going to use an exterior clear coat product. It's going to do a great job at locking in the color and keep it well protected. This is a dead flat finish, so there's really no sheen to it. It's going to keep a really natural appearance. When you're applying the clear coat, it's really important that you keep a really nice, even, consistent spray pattern. Same speed, same distance from the substrate. And as you can tell, this product here, it actually looks kind of white when it goes down. That lets me know that I'm actually getting material on the substrate where I need it, but it dries completely clear. So I'm really happy with the look of it. It's gonna be very period correct for this truck. So now we're gonna do a few more coats on the top and bottom. Once everything dries, it'll be ready to go back on old Max. Hey, I'm Lewis. Everybody refers to me here as the wood guy. When Bill needs something done with the wood around here, he gives me a call. All right, man, let's do that. I got into the woodworking business through my family, so I enjoy working on wood because of the family lineage. I really enjoy the restoration and refinish side, seeing things come back to life. Yeah. I also enjoy being bold and using different techniques that most people don't see, really just making things special and seeing what beauty we can bring out of the natural wood. Probably my favorite project was Rubio's truck when we did the riverbed. That was really cool to be able to utilize epoxies and different techniques to really make that a one-off bed. This is a trade that is constantly evolving, constantly innovating. There's always something to learn. You always want to push yourself to be a better craftsman and show off what you can do, and it's exciting.
One of those really good days at the shop. We're almost done with the truck portion on the 31 Ford. We've color matched that Ford BT to the orange of the Maxwell House look.
Bill, I'll grab that side, I'll grab this side.
The custom bed is back from powder coat and it looks perfect.
All right, now go down. Yeah.
So this Maxwell House build, I thought was just going to be one of our smaller builds. Get it in, get it out, go to the next one. Well, of course, they never, ever work out like this. We've gotten the truck done. It's complete. The next phase of this is building that trailer. So that's why I called in Rex. What's happening, man? Because I got a couple questions. Appreciate you coming in, man. You know, we got all that coffee equipment in. We're about to start building the trailer, and I'd really like your input on placement.
I'm here to help out any way I can.
First-hand knowledge is what we need.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Old Max is looking good. Man, if you don't tell anybody back in Florida, I'd like to show you something.
You gonna let me see it? I can keep a secret.
All right. Jamie, come on. You know, I don't normally do this, but I know he's super excited to see the truck, so I'm going to let him check it out.
Oh, my God. Bill. Woo! Old Max is now the new Max.
Yeah, man.
Look at this thing. They're going to freak out at Maxwell House, man. Big old wide. Woo! Love it, man. When old Max came out and I saw her again for the first time, unbelievable. Unbelievable. The stance, man, those big 24-inch rims with the coffee cup in the center. They think of everything.
What you think, man?
Down low. Yeah. I love it, man. Killer.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, that's the first time I've seen it out of the shop, too, and it looks good.
It does.
Man, it is incredible,
I like
man. It looks good.
This was a fun project,
It was.
for sure. Always you think, oh, that's a quick, easy, and no. Never works that way. We got it in the shop, just stripped old Max down and started working on suspension. You know, built independent front suspension, got rid of that old straight axle in the front, new 4-link in the back, got rid of the old leaf springs, put a 4-link suspension on air.
Man, it's sitting fat. It looks great.
1-ton axle in it, new dual rear wheels.
Awesome.
Once we did that, oh man, the bed's too skinny.
Man.
I mean, the wheels stuck out that far past the bed, so we had to make the bed wider.
It looks good. I love the color of the wood, too.
Well, there's a little something to that. We stained it with coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Even with that wider bed, I mean, there's still nowhere near enough room to do what you guys wanted to do in the bed. So the trailer.
So I went ahead and made that hitch recessed into the frame so everything's tied down anchor. I mean, you could haul a coffee roaster if you wanted to, you know?
I love what they did with the truck. It couldn't be any better. It's going to be tough keeping a secret. This thing is very cool. Woohoo! Boy, you got a lot of engine packed in that little thing.
Yes, man. That old 4-cylinder was in there, you know, it even took up a lot of room, but, you know, putting that Cummins with the Allison transmission, we had to make a whole lot of room, man.
It's a big motor.
It took quite a while to come up with that configuration where it all fit right.
Looks tight.
Yeah.
But it looks tight, you know what I mean?
We decided to tie it in with the Maxwell House logo and paint it orange, so you get some color under the hood too.
Dude, it goes perfect. It looks
pops,
good.
right?
It really
It looks
pops. Yeah, it looks great.
Man, I knew this truck was going to look better from the beginning, but I didn't know it was going to look this good. Everybody that worked on it in the shop, they get back and look at it now it's complete, they're all just blown away also. This truck turned out very, very, very good. I hope all you guys out there are going to be super happy with it, man.
They're going to be blown away, Bill. There's no doubt they're going to freak out.
You know, we're just about to go to the next step on it and go pick you have, man. I'm glad you're here. I need your help with that, so if you don't mind. Cool, man. We're pretty much going to build a rolling coffee shop.
It's gonna be long.
We have a couple of builds that are going to be dropped off this week that I'm super excited about.
1953 Chevy ice cream truck.
Definitely not much going on there, for sure.
2012 CTS wagon. So you're saying take the whole front end off and put a new one on.
Yeah.
1-on-1.
As a business owner, I know I got to keep them bays full. Tack this one real quick.
Oh my God, man, what a combination, brother.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You said we were shopping for trailers. Look at the trailer land.
For sure.
You know, after a whole lot of work, we got the Maxwell House truck looking really, really good. But the problem is they've sent us a huge grinder, huge roaster. I mean, there's not enough room in the truck to pack all this stuff. So to save a lot of time, I'm out here at Nationwide Trailers.
Bill, how's it going?
Hey, man, Carlos.
Rudy,
Nice to meet you. Hopefully they have something in their lot that we can use and to build off of.
How can we help you? I see you looking around.
Man, we got a custom build in the shop, a 1931 Ford. It's Ford Maxwell House.
The coffee company?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
We're building a real cool truck. We put a diesel engine in it. Of course, lowered it with new wheels and tires. It's a dually with the stake bed on it. But, you know, the problem is they sent all this equipment to stick in the back of the bed, but it's definitely not going to fit. It's going to be way too cramped.
Okay.
So, solution is finding that right trailer that we can put all that equipment in it, and we need it to match, you know, one uniform, cool, custom truck and trailer when it's going down the road or at different events.
Old Max with the new Max. Make it look like that.
Let me show you a couple trailers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
We have literally thousands of different trailers that we sell. Figure if we look around long enough, we'll find something that works for them. Put to the back, two 3,500-pound axles and aluminum fenders.
I think we need a higher deck and wider. Basically, we're going to build the trailer out so it matches the truck. So I need the deck height about the same because we're going to build stake pockets around it and no rails on it.
I think we got something over here.
The key to this build is finding the right trailer, the right height, the right length, you know, just to tie everything in together.
We do a TA, that one tilts up and down.
I think they would have too much fun with that one.
This is a great height, man. This is going to match the deck on the truck itself. You know, of course, this is too long for what we need.
I got a 16-footer on the other side of the yard. You think that'd be better?
Let's check it out.
I think this is what you're looking for. 16-foot, 102 inches wide, 27K axles.
So if we only put 2,000 pounds on it, it's going to be super bouncy.
So that's what's great about these. They're not. I've pulled these before personally, and they ride very, very smooth.
16 foot is absolutely what we need. I mean, this is double the length of the truck, so it's not too long. It's going to be totally out of proportion. Already has spots for the stake pockets. We can just build right off of that, make it match the height of the truck. This one will work.
All right. Well, you ready to do some paperwork?
Let's make it happen.
You brought the duffel bag?
Yeah, completely perfect. The length that it has is exactly what we need. 16 feet long, 8 foot wide is exactly what we're looking for. We can build off of this and make it match the truck perfectly. I'm gonna get this back to the shop and get going on it. Some projects are in and out. Some projects, you know, they take some figuring out. You know, old Max just turned out really cool. Now the challenge is making a trailer match the coolness of the truck. You know, making it one cohesive unit, you know, so it doesn't look mismatched. That's the whole challenge of this project. You know, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of creativity, a lot of talent, but at the end, we can hook this up to old Max, take it wherever. It's going to draw a crowd, and you know, it's not only going to look good, they're going to have a functioning coffee bar behind old Max. Goonie trailer. It is. Just got finished up with the Maxwell House truck, and I love how it turned out. But you know, the only issue we have, that huge antique roaster that they sent, definitely not fit in the back of that truck. Me and Carlos just got back with this to solve that issue, to put everything that Maxwell House wanted in the back of the truck on this trailer with way more room. I mean, we're pretty much going to build a rolling coffee shop on this. So, of course, that big, huge roaster is centerpiece. So around that, we'll configure everything else that's in the coffee shop, right? Seating area all along the back. And of course, you have to wash, prep, you know, so we'll have a countertop here, sink in it, so you can do everything you need to do when it comes to that, right? Potable water tank, gray tank, generator. I mean, everything you need to make, present, and to clean up
That's kind of cool. So it'd be like all just open, outdoorsy, coffee shop style deal, just kind of sun beating down on you?
Not so much, man. We need to build a canopy over the top, right?
Yeah.
And not just a roof. I want to build it so it closes up. So at night they can lock everything up, and in the daytime they can.
Yeah.
So when it gets to where you're going, you can open it up, and we'll have more shade all the way around it also.
Good idea.
Yeah.
It'll be real cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So we're gonna have the big roaster right in the middle over the axle, I assume. Gonna have some benches, countertop, some sinks, some freshwater, gray water.
The canopy.
Oh yeah. We got it.
You might want to write it down.
Yeah, we should probably write it down.
Probably should.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, the well-built trailer, it's definitely gonna do what we need to do, but first things first, we got to start chopping it up a little bit to whittle down to the part that we actually need. So we're going to get rid of a couple pieces off the back, took the wheels off just to get it lower, easier to work with, so you don't have to step up and down all day long, and then we're going to get going on it.
We're going to cut off the back rail here on the rear of the trailer because it's not going to be needed anymore and it will not be used. Watch your toes.
Yeah, I need to cut it right here. Hitting the lathe. We're gonna have to move the building over a little bit so we can move the lathe over a little bit, and then we'll be able to cut it. So give me a couple days. So I'm cutting here some 1/8 inch 4x4 square tubing. These are gonna be our uprights for our trailer. This is what everything is going to be built off of. This is going to be our main structure for our canopy, for our entryway. We're going to build our back wall off of this, our countertops, literally everything. Nice. We'll make 6 of these. 4 of them will be the same, 2 will be slightly different. They're going to be in a different spot. Grab a couple of nasty rags and just start cleaning them.
Oh yeah, these things all hurled up.
All right, these 2 here are for the center. They're 7'2". The 4 are 7 foot.
Because it goes up over the fender so good. Probably end up cutting that rail out, huh?
No, we're gonna French it in around the rail.
Just slide it down right on there.
We're just gonna cut it. Bill wants to French the corners of these into the trailer instead of torching the side of the trailer or just setting these on top and only getting a weld on the base. We want to get a weld all the way around every corner. So we're going to go down 6 inches on this, cut 2 inch out, French it to the corner, tack it. I'll let you know when. Yeah, right there. Get every post up, make sure everything's square, level, true, and just bam, 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 knock them all out. I think if I put some pressure on it like that, make it touch, then we'll be good.
Just tack this one real quick. And we got a huge start. And we got our 6 posts up. Now we're just going to start connecting all the posts together. So we'll have the perimeter right around the top so we can start building the roof right off of that. Jobs like this are a lot of fun.
You gonna help me?
Not, have that repetitious day, the day in and day out of the same old. I love jobs like this where we can get in and start creating and have that instant gratification where you start putting the pieces together and shoot, a couple hours later you got something to look at, other than...
Man, that's why I quit pipe welding over that repetitious, same exact thing every day. Just get yours kind of close and just hold it there and don't move.
You can do electrical all day long and still not fix the problem and just make you go home angry.
Yeah, this is way cooler.
Yeah. What was this again?
Should be 9,304.
No, outside.
You want to go outside?
Yeah. 97 and a quarter. It's a super busy time at Extensive right now. Finishing up some really big builds with a ton of hours in them. Alright, you can go ahead and cut 4 of them. Old Max, the 31 Ford, along with the coffee trader that we have to build for it now. The 49 Ford, the GTO, and something really cool for someone you definitely heard of. As cool as that is, as a business owner, I know I gotta keep them bays full. So what happens is we're done. We have a couple builds that are gonna be dropped off this week that I'm super excited about. That's a cool wagon, man.
Yes, sir. That's my baby.
Those CTS, man, you don't see these on the road anymore.
No, this
right?
Very, very, very seldom.
Right, very few. I've only seen a few on the road ever.
So I came down to Extensive to get my 2012 CTS wagon up to date. Give it a second chance at life. I have owned the car for 12 years, and the condition it's in right now is a little beat up.
I know they ain't made these in quite some time, huh?
Yeah, almost 10 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, no wonder I don't see them on the road that much, right?
Exactly.
I know they're still highly sought after because it's unique, you know.
Yeah.
I see you got a couple of little paint issues. Are we just freshening up, or you just want to come with it?
I want to come with it all the way.
I love hearing that.
Okay.
And I got a couple ideas. You know, I seen it rolling in, and man, I definitely see, you know, of course, wheels and tires.
For sure. Yes, sir.
And you already know what we're known for is air suspension. We got to drop it on the ground.
Got to.
But if we're coming with it, I know they don't make these cars a new CTS car.
Yeah.
What do you think about taking that whole front end and grafting it to the front of this car? So basically, this will look like a 2024 CTS wagon.
Bill, so you're saying take the whole front end off,
chop it off,
and put a new one on?
Yeah.
We can do that, Bill?
Man, if we're going for it, that'd be the way to do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that way you're rolling around in what looks like a brand new wagon that nobody else has.
No, that'll be a one-on-one for sure. Bill's ideas goes way beyond what I was thinking I was coming here for. So just to think about that new CTS front end on a wagon, it blows my mind.
Yeah, we cut it, you know, right from the fender gap forward. Okay. We'll cut it right down there and just grab that brand new front end right to the whole fender. So all the body line, the door gap and everything's 100%. It'll look like it came from the factory like that.
That'll look really cool, you know.
What is that, the V6?
Yeah, that's a V6, bro.
What is that, a
3.6 liter.
That's typical for this car, right? Just a CTS, not the CTS V.
Yeah. I wanted the V, but, you know, 10 years ago I couldn't afford it.
No, I totally get that. But, you know, since we're got the whole front end gone and removed from the lead engine out and replace it, you know, with maybe a supercharged 6.2, LT4 in this, you know, over 600 horsepower.
Oh my God.
What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, I'm with it.
I mean, you're talking about a tire shredder.
Yes. Now
I mean, that's basically a brand new CTS V wagon.
Now we're talking.
That you can't get anywhere.
One-on-one.
That's it, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it has to be right at the end of the tubing. So, I actually like that, right? I want a curved roof on the coffee trailer. That way to kind of match the roof of the truck, and then we can put a canvas over it. First up, we're going to have to roll all those square tubes.
All right, we got some 1.5 inches. This is going to be for our top canopy, and this is going to hold whatever we decide to put up there. Rolled a couple of them so far. We're going to keep on rolling.
So we got our 1.5 inch square tubing rolled in a rolled vendor, and it looks like we're wasting a lot of material, but it's about 8 inches on each end. So you have 8 inches that is just flat metal. We just transferred the measurements off the trailer onto the table,
and we have our exact dimension of how to chop this out.
Just clamp something here, so all you gotta do is butt to it. Alright, so we rolled all this 1.5, got it all cleaned up, trimmed up, everything's looking good. We're ready to go throw it onto the top of the trailer now, get them lined out where they need to go, and then we can really start seeing this trailer come to life. See if I can step on it. So right now, Jamie and I are laying out every one of these ribs that we've rolled, and we're just trying to match them. We want them all to have that same shape. Yeah, no, that's good. At 16 feet, we can start laying out our marks. We're gonna go every 15 inches. We got 16 feet, we got 13 ribs. We're gonna lay them out on center. We'll get them all straight like that.
It looks pretty good like that.
We like the way these are, and then we'll have a roof.
Thing about building a coffee shop trailer, there are no limits. We can build pretty much anything. You know, I have it in my head what that's going to be. But as we go, we can make those little changes to make it cooler and cooler. Now that we have the frame up, we're going to make those windows that actuate up. So we got some 2x2 16 gauge square tubing. We're going to build a perimeter frame on the inside of the trailer walls. We're going to line these with canvas, so when you're going down the road, you can have the trailer all closed up. And then when you get to where you're going, we're going to actuate these so it comes up, so you have even more shade all the way around the trailer. So it's going to be pretty cool. Little C-clamp here, little C-clamp up there. We're going to make 6 of these total, so we're going to set up a quick little jig on the table so we can knock them out pretty quick. We'll get these all tacked up, welded up, and off to the trailer.
Cool. We got all our canopy frames finished up, got everything welded, buffed, sanded, looking good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start putting our hinges on here. We got some really heavy duty hinges. We're gonna go ahead and put these on the top, allow it to open up and close. I'm gonna get these thrown on, get them welded on, and then we're gonna get them all put on the trailer.
Mind giving us a hand real quick, just tacking this up on the very front. So let's go.
I reach that corner over there, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Need to spin it, yep.
I'll set it down there.
All right.
You got it? Yeah. Raise it. Knock you off. Cool, man.
They're working on the trailer for the Maxwell House coffee truck. They've got the top built, everything's a top for this thing. I mean, it's big. 101 inches in one direction and 192 in the other direction. It's gonna be long. This piece was so large, all I'm doing now is just verifying my ends are square. Once I got it all squared up, I gotta roll out another, get them cut exact the same size, and then it'll be time to start sewing them together. Fantastic. Well, managed to drag out enough material, got it all cut up, got it squared up. Doesn't look like much, but it's ready to go. It's gonna be a lot of work, so get it over the trailer and we'll move on to the next step.
actuators now to lift up all the doors. So we're going to take this DOM, we're going to turn down the end of it to miss the body of the actuator when it goes up and down. So I'm going to turn the end down back so. We'll try it out, make sure it clears. If it clears, we'll cut 6 more. So using a lathe is a little bit better in this because I want to turn down the whole end instead of using a grinder and cutting it. This makes for a nicer piece. It's a machine look. It looks like, you know, we put some effort into it. Just like that, we got our piece. Let's go try it out, see if it works. We got our actuator here. This is how it's going to pivot when it's going up and down. That's exactly what we're looking for there. This bottom bracket here is going to hold the bottom of our actuator. Very important to get this, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Every single one of them has to be on the same plane, because if they're not, the door will open in different ways. It's going to get stressed out. It'll try to flex. Nothing will work properly. I can put this guy here, and now we can build off of this top support that runs the whole back of the trailer. Now that we know our measurement from the bottom to the top of this here, we know exactly how long our piece needs to be. Dustin's cutting that over there. We'll get that tacked in. And now it's just a matter of just making it look cool, man. Giving it a little bit of strength, a little style, something like that. I think that looks pretty dang cool. If it was my trailer, I'd be happy. Like I want it, I can get it tacked in, and we can move on to the middle. It does look pretty cool, actually. Yeah. This back door is super simple because we made this extra little structure here to be able to bolt off of. We got Jesse to burn out 8 of these for us. All we gotta do is put this guy up here and tack it to the top right there. Once it's all bolted in, we'll test these actuators and make sure it works.
Sir, Eddie James.
Bill, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you, Bill.
What you got going on here?
So, got an old 1953 Chevy ice cream truck.
Man, that's definitely unique.
It is. It's not something you see every day.
Definitely not, man.
So I know the project that I have is unique, and I knew the perfect place to bring it would be to Extensive. Bill does some of the most amazing metal work, paint work,
and cream truck.
So my daughter and I work with a couple of different charities in our community, and so we're just looking for something that would be unique, that we can take to charity events, can hand out ice cream to the kids. What a great way to give back, right?
Yeah, I love it. You know, people build cars for all sorts of different reasons. You know, most of the time it's for a car show. You know, most of the time to have that trophy in the garage, but in this case, it's really cool, you know, that he wants to build this just to give back to the community, just to go out and meet people, have a good time, and share some ice cream with them.
So this truck in particular does have a little bit of movie history, such as Cheech and Chong, Nice Dreams, and Raiders of the Lost Ark, Crystal Skull.
Oh, wow. Hopefully we can add to that history.
Absolutely.
So what do you want to do with it?
So, you know, of course, it's kind of old and tired and bland looking. We want to really kind of make it shiny and really cool. Whenever you pull up, it catches a lot of attention.
You know, the truck's already super cool, but would definitely make it cooler and make it a little lower. You know, definitely new suspension, front and back. I mean, when you pull up somewhere, you dropping it down, it's already going to attract attention, but that would just draw a crowd, and that's even more ice cream you can give back.
That's right.
You know, new wheels, new tires, get that stand. Are you stuck on white?
No, actually, I would love to put some color on it. Even a two-tone, but I'm leaving that totally up to you.
So just come up with the color that fits it and just attracts attention.
Absolutely. Whatever you think looks best.
Well, we definitely got you on that, man. As far as the interior, I mean, you pretty much only have seat covers, but, you know, come up with something fresh and clean. So not only it's what you sit on, it's what you see when you're walking up to the truck itself, right? We need to come up with something that just, you know, not only comfortable for you to ride in and, you know, looks good and fits with the rest of the truck also.
Sure. And the seat's a little high, so the windshield hits me about here. So, you know, getting a cool seat would be really nice.
Definitely. And definitely got to put some stereo in there. You know, that's part of the ice cream truck. You got to hear it before you see it, right?
I agree.
What you got going on under the hood?
So it's got the original 6-cylinder, so not much going on there.
Let's check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely not much going on there, for sure. You know, I think on something like this, just the best way to do this is just rip all this out and just start fresh. Put a, you know, later model LS engine in. That way you got plenty of power.
Cylinder didn't have a whole lot of power even when it was new, and it's definitely tired. So some horsepower and reliability, definitely what I'm looking for.
Man, that's just all wood in there, huh?
Yeah, I believe that may actually be the original stuff from 1953.
That's crazy. I figured it'd be stainless all in there, right?
Right.
Does it work now?
As far as I know, none of it works.
You know, I'm no refrigerator guy, but we're going to figure out a way to make this happen, make it work for you.
I knew we came to the right place.
Yeah. Builds like this ice cream truck, that just pushes us fabricators. And getting them in now, it just gives us more time to figure out that right approach, to take them completely over the top.
Me and Bill are going to have a pull-up competition.
But we can't get too distracted. We still have a lot left to do on that coffee trailer for the 31 Ford.
Come on, dude.
We're basically building a rolling coffee shop, so you gotta have a place to sit. So what we're gonna do is build a seating area back here with some storage underneath it. So right now we're gonna lay out how it's gonna look, frame it all out. We'll have some butcher block on top. We're making our framework all out of 1x1 square tubing, so it'd be plenty of support. It's 73 divided by 3. We're in 1/2. Yes, sir. We got our counter space. What we're gonna have is a little L shape here. Have a little bit more prep room. Got some butcher block top. I think it'll all look really, really good with the same stain all throughout. Where I have our cabinets underneath there so to hide all our water tanks and plumbing. You know, they'll have some storage under here too.
Since we've used the butcher block on the countertops, we're going to carry that theme out through the back. We're just going to use these butcher block tops, cut them up, and make the benches out of that.
What are you doing with the board?
That's going to be the guide for the router bit. We're going to put that right on the line and then flush trim to it.
Okay.
Well, that's what this is for. Double-sided stick tape. That'll guarantee that we have a perfect 45-degree miter in the corner. These blocks are so thick, it's hard to get a saw to run through. You try to go through with a jigsaw or something, it'll walk. So we're just going to give it a good, clean cut with a router. Perfect.
It's nice.
Miters look good, angles line up.
So you got the good height, huh?
Yeah. That'll work. So what's the size of the table?
32 by 24.
Okay, that'll fit. What if I take the tabletop, I can fit it in my laser, and I can laser the logo, their new logo, into the top of the table. That way, kind of personalize it for the trailer.
That look good.
Cool. You know, I just can't wait to get done with all this so I can enjoy a cup of coffee right here.
Well, I'm going to enjoy one with you, so.
Right?
Let's get it done.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, it's a big moment right now. We got a whole lot accomplished on the trailer for that 31 Ford. But what it's all about is making coffee. So we have this antique roaster to get in place. This old roaster is about 2,000 pounds. Please keep a hand on it. So we're gonna have to wrestle it up in the right spot.
And we're good.
Preferably right over the tires, so the wait to see where we go from there.
That pipe.
Okay, it's on them. What we want is the pipes all the same spot. You know what I mean? You know how you get a big ass heavy safe in your house?
No.
Golf balls. Golf balls down wherever you want. All right, you ready?
Just easy, just go slow.
Well, still a little technique from the Egyptians. You know, they roll those big old blocks on timbers. We're going to use pipe here.
Is it gonna miss the wood in the corner over there?
We should. Roll it right into place. That's going to be home.
2, 3. Ish, there you go. Cool.
Tabletop for the Maxwell House trailer. They sent over a file of their logo, so I'm going to take that and get that imported. I got to do a little cleaning up on it. As you can see, there's a lot going on here, mainly in the coffee cup and the drip. I'll get it scaled, sized, get it into the laser, and we'll get it running. This will probably run for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Not anything else I can do with it except for waiting on it to get finished, so... Alright, so everything worked out good. Got it centered up, placed perfect. So next step, round over the corners and it's off the stain and this thing's done. It's heavy. It's too heavy to handle over there. So it's a template that I'm going to route to so I don't have to screw something up over there. That is that. My job's done. This thing worked out perfect, so we'll send this off, let it get finished, and I'm gonna go find another fire to put out.
Come over here with it. Bill dropped off the countertops. Everything looks really good. John did a really good job lasering the logo. So we're gonna get them prepped out. We're gonna get them finished sanded. Nice on the trailer. So first thing we have to do, we've got to fix all of the imperfections in the substrate. We're using a light to make sure that we can actually see everything. That's going to highlight every imperfection in the actual countertop. So we're actually going to use an iron and a wet rag. The heat is going to swell the wood, bring it to the top. So we can see that now the imperfections are starting to raise up. Oh yeah, those came out real nice. All right, cool. So now that we've got everything dried, this is ready to sand, and that'll be the final step before we go ahead and stain. Whenever we're sanding, we just want to make sure that we go in an even pattern. We don't want to go too fast. If we do, we might end up with sanding swirls that are going to highlight through when we go ahead and stain. We've got our clear coat picked out. We're going to make a stain. It's important that everything is 100% food safe since they're going to be serving off of this, and that's what this product's going to do for us. Since this butcher block has multiple species of wood, it's important that we actually use a spray stain so everything's uniform and looks consistent. Awesome. Now we've got everything stained. We're ready to put the food safe clear coat on top. These countertops are going to be well protected for years to come.
We've had some great builds together. We've had some fun ones. We had some really challenging, and we've had a lot of overnight teams in but ones too. And that's what's cool about what we do around here. It's a wide range of everything. We'll build a car for Earl Campbell, and then we'll build a motorcycle trailer.
Something totally out of character. You know, it's not really a vehicle. It doesn't have a motor, but come to the guy, we're going to build it.
The barbecue truck, yeah, the tanker truck, we turned it.
I'll strap me inside that thing and then pop me over.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the favorites was the buggy. You had this idea, We had stuff mocked up with flat bar and chipboard.
Yeah, just building it completely from absolutely nothing.
That's
there.
right. Boom, before you knew it, we had a cage on the table, and it just started coming together so fast. One of the great things about working here is seeing what he imagines just start coming to life, and all the hard work, late nights, all that stuff goes right away when it's...
When we first took in the 31 Ford truck, you know, I wasn't even thinking about a coffee shop on wheels. Now that we're almost done, I couldn't imagine this build without it. You know, I'm really excited how this trailer's coming out right here at the end. We're painting the frame, and we're going to add coffee stained floor to match.
We're at that point where we need to put that exterior wood right on this trailer. It's going to kind of simulate what the bed of the truck looks like. Once we get this canvas on it, it's going to tie everything together. We're going to have our roaster in here soon. We're going to have our grinder, countertops on it, sink, coffee table. This thing's going to be something.
Finished the Maxwell House truck not too long ago. Now the trailer is done today, you know, which means the whole project's done. So we got Rex coming in.
What's up, Bill?
Feels like I just seen you. Hopefully he kept a secret on the truck.
Ready to see it, bub.
Let's go check it out.
The anticipation of waiting on this thing been crazy. Been wanting to tell everybody, but definitely keeping a secret. More than ready. Oh my God, Bill. Man, what a combination, brother. That trailer's so huge too, man. I had no idea. Love the wood on the side, matches the truck.
It looks good together.
Man, it does. Got some wheels on that thing too. Bill, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. The people in Jacksonville are gonna freak out.
Shoot, anywhere you go with this, people are gonna freak out.
Yeah, matches old Max perfectly. You can tell it was Maxwell House just by looking at it. Man, this thing looks so cool all together.
You never see a 31 Ford 1-ton truck anywhere, much less a custom 31 Ford truck. But then you pull up somewhere and you see the matching trailer for it.
It's amazing.
Everybody's gonna be blown away.
It's amazing.
I know you've seen the truck, man. Let's go check the trailer.
All right. Wow. This thing's awesome, dude.
You had to have a trailer. You had a problem where we didn't have enough room on the truck itself to do what you needed to do. So we couldn't just get an enclosed trailer that it doesn't match. So we started out with just a 16-foot flat deck trailer. You just gave me the perfect platform to build what we needed to build for you. We started out with 6 posts and just went from there. Built a canvas roof and actuated canvas sides. So when you're rolling down the road, everything, when you open it all up, you're in business.
It's awesome. It's so sick. Man, let's see it. When we roll up to a car show and start opening this thing, people are going to be wondering what's in there.
Rex, I see a lot of business trips to the car show for you.
Oh, yeah. For sure. That's it.
Seeing that trailer, seeing the doors all opened up, seeing that big coffee roaster, grinder. So it makes you want to go up in it and see what it's all about. Check it out. Maybe even get a cup of coffee.
Man, this thing's awesome, Bill. Love the woodwork. Everything goes together with old Max. Got the roaster, grinder, got some tunes.
Yeah, man.
Everything nice and open up. Man, this is crazy.
We built all this cabinetry up front. You know, it's all that in the kitchen sink, right? You know, you have your potable water, your gray water tanks, hot water heater. Everything is all under here that you need. Generators putting out 225 for that big old grinder. You got your roaster going.
Can't believe you got the big piece of equipment in there. I know that's a heavy roaster right there.
Man, it is. It's over 2,000 pounds. It's heavy. Shoot, just the grinder's 350 pounds. That's why we place them, you know, right over the axe.
Works well too, because I mean, we dump beans in here, they roast, and then we put them right in the grinder.
Straight into the...
Yep, got the water to make coffee with. I mean, couldn't ask for anything better. The roaster set up, the path of everything, the way we actually make coffee and work, it's going to be killer. It's set up perfect. I love the idea of seating area. Maxwell House logo on the table. Sit around, drink coffee.
And man, you got some extra storage under there too, so all that flips up so you can keep all your coffee beans back there. to keep weight on the backside of the trailer too. Of course, we had to hook the trailer up to match old Max, right? We stained everything with coffee in the stain, so we had to do the same here. So you're staining on coffee.
That's awesome.
Man, you see everything we got going on here. We had 16 foot, and it's still just what you need. There's no way all this was going to fit and work in the back of the truck. So we had to build you a custom trailer on this. Always say, not just me, it's everybody at the shop making projects like this happen. You know, I appreciate each and every one of them, and I appreciate Maxwell House giving us the opportunity to build it for them. And I just love how everything turned out. You know, with this, with open air, people are just going to be smelling that coffee. Wherever event you go to, man, we got you hooked up. And I know you're going to make a bunch of coffee and a bunch of people happy.
Thank you, my man.
Glad you like it.
And let's go work out